Welcome to All Around the Town. I'm your host, Lynda Kay, here on your TV. And today we are at the Art Gallery of Northumberland, and I'm pleased to have sitting with me Olinda Casimiro, who is the executive director. Olinda, it's great to be here.
Yeah, welcome. It's great to have you here, Lynda.
Well, it's nice to be in this gallery and be able to see one of the exhibits that you have here right now.
Right, so this space is the permanent collection gallery space, and what we're looking at behind us here is an exhibition called Narrative and Nourishment, and it is about food and community. And you know, the exhibition came about as a result of sharing conversations and eating together.
No, it's just lovely, and we'll go a little more in depth into that, but I wanted to really start off to talk about the banner year you've had with the gallery, 2025. You know, there was a lot to build after COVID, and to think the gallery last year was so busy with record attendance and many shows and exhibits and spotlights, and like, you have so much going on. So let's talk about the success of last year.
Sure, it was a banner year, as you say, and you know, the reality is coming out of COVID was really hard. And I wouldn't say that we're 100% there, but I'd say maybe about 90%. We are seeing a record attendance. We had a 25% increase from 2024 to 2025, which was really great. And our events and programs are well attended. And, you know, truthfully, that's in part thanks to our funders, the town of Cobourg, who provides us with our core operation funding, and Northumberland County, who provides us with our programming funding. So it's really great to get us you know, to a point where we're really engaging community and inviting them to come not just once a year, but several times a year. So it's terrific.
Well, I would think, too, that the membership of the gallery has expanded as well. I mean, I think that's something you've really worked hard on, and the board's worked hard on, to look at that expansion, to get people signing up for memberships and getting to belong to the gallery, and then coming out to all the exhibit openings and such. Like, it's been such an amazing year for the gallery.
Right, Lynda. So our membership, we transitioned our membership from the traditional family, dual, student membership to a level style membership, level 1, 2, and 3, and each of those categories are supporting different programs. And we try to engage and to ensure that community really values their membership. So it's worked out really well. Yeah.
No, it's great. And you know, now as you move out from 2025, you're looking at, you know, and I must admit, I sit on the board of directors of the Art Gallery, which has been a very fun experience. I joined it in 2025. As we move into 2026, you know, the board worked on a new strategic plan, which is just about to go out to, it's gone out to the members and now going out to the community to see. And it's amazing, you know, what we want to look at to help continue to build the gallery.
Well, you know, strategic plans, I think, are our driver for everything that we do. And our board, and yes, working with you has been terrific. Our board really did a deep dive into the needs, values of community and gallery offerings and what is possible. So we have 3 fantastic pillars that we're working with, and yes, it'll be delivered to community this week.
So those pillars include expanding the arts education, strengthen regional presence and outreach, because we are the Northumberland Art Gallery of Northumberland, and maintain our financial sustainability. And those are 3 very important pillars, right? Because like you mentioned already, the town of Cobourg and Northumberland County being good funders for us, and we really appreciate that, because funding for the arts isn't always easy.
It's not always a priority.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's not always a priority. You're quite right. So having them give us our core funding, it helps us build our fundraising and donations and such to continue to grow our programming and such, because that's vital to us as well.
That's right, and at the end of it, it's really the service that we provide to our community that is valued, and when community begins to see that value, then they do attend our events, they participate, they engage. We're really, I think we're actually one of the few places left that offers a safe space for conversation and for artists especially to take risks risks. It's really wonderful to be part of that cultural fabric in our community.
Well, in the galleries, you can come in and it's free to come into the gallery, isn't it? You can leave.
Although we do ask for a donation.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that, but it is lovely. You can just come into the gallery, and I mean, I think of all the wonderful exhibits you've had here over the years, and one of those things we should sort of promote is the fact that one of those exhibits is up in the Kawartha now.
That's right. Well, so that's part of our Inuit permanent collection, and we had the opportunity to partner with the Kawartha Museum and Archives, which is located in Lindsay. And just last Thursday, we were up there installing. Our team did a great job. Actually, I should probably go back and make sure that everything is different. But the opening for that, formal opening will happen soon, but you are welcome to go and have a look. It looks very different than it did in our space, so it almost feels like a completely different exhibition, but so thrilled that they will have an opportunity to enjoy it, and the school board, the Kawartha School Board, will really engage with it as well.
Well, what was lovely was that they asked us if you would take it up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's part of so we received federal funding for that exhibition, and we were looking for a partner, and they stepped up and they were very interested. There is an actual connection with the donor and Lindsay, the donor of the collection. Yeah, so they are looking at that exhibition from a different lens, but it's still a remarkable opportunity for us to have our works in another space. So it's great.
And it's a beautiful exhibit. I mean, I was fascinated by it when it was here. Well, it is, because you look at that Inuit art and the carvings, and the detail in them is incredible, right?
And Lynda, the opportunity for having works like that in the south or in the southern part of Canada, is not as common as if you were to, say, go north or go out west to the museums there. So it's a treasure that we have.
It is a treasure that we have that. We're so fortunate to have that, and that it was donated to our permanent collection, right? So I think that's really, really important. So coming up, though, you have a few workshops you've got happening, right, which are very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about those.
Sure. We have Life Drawing, which we started back in the fall of 2025, hugely popular. And so that's Thursday evenings. And from that, we also understand that we have a fantastic community of artists, that there's an interest in still life drawing, and of course the life drawing, but other programs, some programs for children. We just had 2 this past week. We had a PA day for children, full day of activities, and then on Saturday we had portrait drawing for children as well. But some of those programs translate for adult programming as well.
No, and that's great. And I mean, I'm sure the parents enjoy having the opportunity to drop their kids off here, their children off here to be a part of those programs.
And it's not craft, right? It is fine art, so they are getting, that added component to their learning, which, I think all parents want their children to enjoy themselves, but also, from our perspective, make it relative to the child. So it's
what age group is that for coming here for those?
There are different sessions, so 5 to 10, and then 11 to 14, I think, is where it's at. And then we also have a youth council that meets every Thursday, and that's ages 14 right up to 17, high school, grades 9 to 12.
You've had good engagement with your youth council too, haven't you? So they were doing some selections of drawing just recently, weren't they?
That's right, yep. They were adjudicating a competition, and they will also have their own exhibition coming in the spring. We're very excited about that. So they've been working hard at learning how to curate, learning how to bring together an exhibition, having the dialogue, getting them to write about it, and developing their own archive. So it's really exciting for them.
And the students are coming from CCI, Trinity, that type of.
Yeah, St. Mary's, CCI. We put it out there to all the high schools in Northumberland County, and just general public as well. And I don't think there's a homeschool child, but we've had homeschool children as well.
No, that's amazing. So, I think it's one of the great things about Northumberland County is the arts and culture that is available here, right? And to be able to, bring them into the gallery and learn different things and be involved is, I think, very, very important for our young people, right? Because we're so lucky to have the gallery here to do that.
Yeah, well, we're far enough away from the Art Gallery of Ontario, and then so we're close enough to have that gallery experience for students or for young people, so that they can be comfortable one day if they're in a city that they feel comfortable walking in and get excited about it.
So one of the other things we thought we'd just touch on when we were chatting before the second half of the show, where we'll talk about the exhibits, is the fact you can rent this for a venue.
Yes, so if you are planning to get married, you can have your micro wedding here at the gallery. We have an entire package that you can do. We also rent the space for special events such as memorials, birthday parties, which is relatively new, the birthday parties, because we're really turning that attention to young families.
Yes.
And it is all managed by our staff. So yeah, now we don't rent the space for other fundraisers because it's in conflict with what we do, because we also have to fundraise. But we certainly welcome.
Special events like that, which are,
yeah.
Being able to come for a birthday party or being able to get married here, it's a very special atmosphere.
And we want to
here.
keep it special.
And we
yeah.
want to keep it special,
Yeah.
right? So that the gallery's here for that. But and it's such a great ambiance here. So to come here and have a special event here is just
It's memorable.
It's memorable for sure. Yeah. And you had a few weddings here already.
We have. We've been doing the micro weddings for about 3 years now, and we start off with just 4 for the year, and that's okay. So we get about between 5 to 10 a year, so it's not too bad. Our Cheryl Ann, who does our events and manages the micro weddings, has been attending the bridal shows. And I think that's really interesting to have us on that platform, because not everyone wants a big wedding with 200
Well, you
people.
often see people coming out of Victoria Hall that have been married here, right? And they may have just been married in the office, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know where they do the weddings downstairs. Of course, they could be getting married in the courtroom.
It's in the courtroom, and sometimes they come up to get pictures in the gallery, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, hang on a minute.
Yeah, okay, wait a minute, copyright, right? So that is another issue that we deal with, is that sometimes the works on the wall are under contract with artists, and then that prevents us from having those events, which is disappointing, but that's okay. That's part of what we do. We're a gallery first, right?
That's right.
And
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. Well, Lynda, we're just going to take a break, and then we'll come back. So please stay tuned to the second half of All Around the Town. Welcome back to the second half of All Around the Town. I'm here at the Art Gallery of Northumberland with Olinda Casimiro, who is the executive director. We're just going to talk about the 2 exhibits that just recently opened here. So, Olinda, let's touch on those. I know we're sitting in the permanent gallery, and you have one here, and then we have one in the main gallery. Oh, and there's one in the sculpture room too.
So maybe we'll start with the one in the sculpture gallery.
Yeah.
There's a work in there called Overskate, and it's a little creepy, but really interesting.
Well, it is interesting. It's different. It's fun, though.
And I think it's up to each individual to decide.
When they go in and see it.
It is a Morris Hummel sculpture, and community is familiar with Morris Hummel's work, so I probably just gave it away, but that's all right. But it's fun. It hasn't been out in quite some time, so it's really nice to see it up.
Now, is that heavy to move?
No, it's paper mache.
So it is paper mache,
But he's
yeah.
on skates. That's why it's called Overskate.
Yeah.
But he's been in storage for quite some time, so it's nice to be able to have that sculpture out. In this space here, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, narrative and nourishment. This exhibition actually came together after my holiday in the summer,
Is that right?
in which I spent a lot of time talking and in and around kitchens. And I'm like,
Well, of course, you're in Europe in the summer, right? And so what else do you do when you go to Italy and that? But food is a big part of life there.
and it just struck me that almost all our conversations were around food. I mean, hence we have some lovely works with people, but we also have the works with food, foraging for food. This one's probably familiar. It's a Ron Bolt, Melanie Brown, who's also in community. So just really lovely. And of course, the David Blackwood, who's having a great retrospective at the AGO. Good plug for him.
Yes.
But really lovely to have the works in our collection to be able to put a show like this together.
And that's one thing we should make sure people understand. These come from the permanent collection of the gallery.
Yeah, so we have 1,500 works approximately in our vault, and this space here that we earmarked for permanent collection only, we do 4 different shows a year, and it's really exciting to do deep dive in collection because of what we actually have that doesn't always come out. So also in the fall, when back in September, when our team was deciding our programming for the final quarter, our education coordinator, Stacy Tost, was talking about life drawing. And of course, we launched the life drawing programs, and I'm like, oh, we should do a portrait show. We have so many portraits in our collection. We could actually do that show about four or five more times.
I just got to say, you could do that quite a few times, could you?
Yeah. So fine, we were going to do a portrait show, and then I decided that we would do a call out to community and invite Northumberland artists to participate, to submit their work.
And you've got 8 Northumberland artists here, which was, how many did you have submit?
We had 28 submitted.
This is what's interesting, because, I mean, when you do your juried show too, the amount of art, works you get donated, not donated, but submitted is incredible.
So it was not easy choosing.
I bet it wasn't.
I really wanted them to have sort of the common thread with the work I had chosen already with the permanent collection works. And it's just turned out fantastic. So about 2 weeks ago, we had not a formal opening. We did a panel discussion with the 8 artists, which welcomed 96 people from community.
Which is like fantastic, right? On a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock in a snowstorm.
I know, right? But the conversations were really engaging, and they were thoughtful. And I was so appreciative of the sharing that happened, and I sort of moderated it, but the community also had some fantastic questions. So it was...
Well, that's lovely, isn't it, that the community engages with the artists, because sometimes you get that, it's really nice to think that conversation was happening within the group.
Well, and I learned too, because some of the questions that I had asked the artists, the way they responded was not the information that I knew, so that was really great.
You learned something.
And I was just like, wow, I thank you for saying that, because we didn't know, but now it makes sense. And
the other thing is, it took you 6 months to put that together. Like, that's a lot of time. Like, I don't think people realize it's not just picking out a painting or picking out a drawing and just putting it up on the wall, right? So, there's a lot to putting an exhibit together like that.
Well, there's themes, and there's also an essay that accompanies the show that helps put the works into context. But also, in doing the research, because our files are lean, so there's a lot of work that goes into that, we discovered a work in between files, or like in our filing units, or drawing filing units, that had no accession number, had no artist name, really lovely drawing, and we've called it the Untitled Mariner.
It's an amazing drawing.
It is, and we're hoping someone in community will really come to see it, and if they remember it being up at some point, or if they have any clues that they can share with us, it would be really terrific. So we're going to be running a campaign in and around that work, because I'm sure, it got here, so I'm sure someone in community... Somehow it got donated or given to the gallery, and it's out, so, maybe there's someone out there that can solve that mystery for you, so you know who it is. Yeah, this gallery has so many fun, interesting, time-consuming mysteries to solve. But it's fantastic. It's really great. So the show is up until mid-March, and we've been programming in and around the show. Like we had the portrait program for children. So that was really well attended. So yeah, it's great, and it's different mediums. So you have drawing, you have painting, of course, and you've got watercolor, and you've got pointillism, we've got photography. Like it's a good
really a big variety, isn't it? When you come in and see it, it's absolutely amazing to walk around and look at. And it really is, and such a variety. You know, same with in here at when you look at this exhibit on food. Just a variety of different works, right?
There's going to be some programming with this show too that I'm really excited about.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's in the vault, but
you're not telling us?
No, because I have to make sure.
Food exhibit here. Are you having somebody come in and cook? Come on,
No. Well, okay, I'll
well, yeah, I know. If you don't want to spill the beans, that's okay.
Not yet, but we will.
Yeah, you will. So, Lynda, like, how long have you been at the gallery now?
8 full years. Yeah. This is in June. It'll be 9 years, so 8.5 years, and it's been very interesting. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but it's been also really rewarding to see the gallery really become what it's intended to be, which is a space for community, for dialogue, for engagement, for participation, and it's been lovely to see that.
And it's also been a journey for you to learn about all the artists that are in Northumberland County, I would think, because I mean there are so many.
I'm still learning. In fact, I've been working with a firm who's digitized. They've been able to map out where these artists are in Northumberland County.
Oh, that's great.
It is, because we didn't have a tool like that. So I'm excited to do the deep dive and use that tool for future opportunities. Yeah.
So in the future, I know we're revamping our website for the future. I mean, but there's still a lot of great information on there, and you can learn about the gallery. One of the things, always encourage individuals to think about buying a membership to the gallery. I mean, it's important for us. It helps us with what we do as an organization, but there's lots of different levels there to be able to engage with the gallery. So, you know, and I mean, we are the Art Gallery of Northumberland, so, you know, we want to make sure we're engaging across the county as well, right? So,
you know, the county itself is quite large, and our logo actually, one of our stylized logos is in the shape of the county.
Right.
And I've driven the entire county, and it's a day trip. Like it's there's a lot to see and experience. And
with lots of galleries on the way too, right?
Smaller
galleries.
But
the small galleries,
smaller galleries that are, you know, commercial galleries. So
Yes, that's right.
You know, and we do the studio tour annually in September. So there's a lot going on that's cultural, like even in the Campbellford area, there's a lot of theater and other cultural.
West Bend, there's just lots happening down in Brighton.
Right.
That's the one thing about the county, there's just such a variety out there, right? So yeah, I mean, that's what's really neat about the county. And it continues to grow that way. So
Our mini art galleries are really successful in the communities too. I think the fact that communities engage with the little mini art galleries, I find really interesting. And for those that aren't familiar with them, they're like the little book boxes, the little library. So you take a piece of art, you put a piece of art in. So there's this wonderful reciprocal community engagement piece.
Well, you've had, you know, since you've been here, there's been a lot of community engagement. There was a lot of building to do, and the gallery's come a long way in those 8 years, Olinda, and really appreciate all the time and effort, not only of yourself, but your staff, because it's a great staff, a great team.
And my volunteers, can't forget our volunteers, because we do this all together, right?
I mean, it's been a big, that's one thing. You can't do anything without volunteers, right?
Especially in a community like ours that really honors and really benefits from our volunteers.
Yeah, we have a community ever since I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, they did sort of a survey here of volunteerism in Northumberland County, and we had a huge high rate of that. And it continues to be that way with everything that happens in the county.
Amazing,
it is totally amazing. Yeah. So Lynda, one of the things the Art Gallery is involved with now is the James Coburn Room here at Victoria Hall. So let's chat a little bit about that.
So we were given the opportunity to enhance the space, in looking at changing the exhibition that's there. And we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from the Young Canada Works Bridging Careers in Heritage through the Canadian Museums Association. And the student actually inventoried all the works that were in there. And the current student, because it's a program that we subscribe to every year, she has actually looked at cabinet making and connected actually with a cabinet maker here in town.
Wow.
And you know, there's a lot of richness in cabinet making from Cobourg. In fact, Paul Kane, who's a well-known Canadian artist, was married to Henrietta Clench. And Henrietta's father owned the Clench, Freeman Clench factory here in Cobourg. And so, and so Zoe Cavalier, who's our student intern, has been working in the space, and we're about ready to open it up to the public. There is some information about, of course, the cabinet making process. We'll have some tools, and just animating the space. There'll be a sound component, just animating the space so that visitors can actually experience the space in a different way of that time from the historical perspective. So pretty excited to be able to engage you know, that industry here in Cobourg, which, so, you know, it's been around for such a long time, to honor that that industry.
Well, it'll be nice to see that when it's all done.
Yeah, well, it's coming quick. I think in the next week or so, it should be up and ready to go.
Well, there you go, another great project by the Art Gallery. Well, Olinda, it's been lovely to sit here in this lovely gallery and with the food exhibits behind us and talk about the Art Gallery and what's been happening last year and what's coming forward for 2026. So it's great.
Well, I'm so glad that you chose to come to the gallery. I love it when you come because you get to be immersed in with the art and learn a little bit more about what we're doing. So thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you. And thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of All Around the Town.